Introduction to the user interface. First part. Let's start by talking about the various parts that make up the Domus Cad window. At the top is the main palette, which can be detached from its default position, and placed anywhere on the screen, or attached to the sides. On the left is the tool palette, which contains all the basic elements of Domus Cad. This too can be detached, and moved anywhere on the screen. The 3D windows on the right can be detached from their default position, moved anywhere, even to a possible second screen, or attached to other sides of the main window. At the bottom is the inspector, which contains the tools for modifying the measurements, angles and characteristics of the various elements. The inspector can be opened and closed like a drawer. On the left, near the tool palette, are the item panels. Panels can be resized, closed and opened. Each panel is linked to an element type and contains element-specific data. By clicking on the icon of the element, the relative panel appears, with the specific data of the type clicked. In the central part there is the work window, where the drawing is created and modified, and where the project is modeled. The working dimensions can be modified by resizing the panels, the 3D views, or by closing some parts. Now let's see the detail of the main palette icons. From left to right the icons are as follows. New document and opens a new window. Open, opens a drawing. Save, to save the current job. Print, to open the print window and print the drawing table. The classic commands for cut, copy, paste and delete follow. The next four icons are used to change the mutual position of the overlapping elements by moving them back, forward, backward or top. Let's take an example by drawing two partially overlapping rectangles. We give the two rectangles a solid fill and two different colors, red and blue. By clicking on the bring forward and bring back icons, we bring red or black to the fore. The following icons concern zooms, with natural zoom, zoom selection, zoom window, zoom all, zoom plus and zoom minus. Select axial only, if activated. Forces a line or a wall to be modified only on its axis or perpendicularly. The next icon shows or not the Cartesian axes, drawn in green, and the origin. Then place global origin and local origin. Show all layers or only the current layer. Show mouse axes allows you to see two axes at the mouse position, tilted like the angle of the drawing board, useful for finding alignments. The icons follow. Show wall axes, offset coordinates, parallel offset, drilling images and polygons, extrusion, rotation, piping, helical stairs, tiles, floors and roofs, from 2D to 3D, bill of quantities. Let's take a closer look at the items on the tool palette on the left. The arrow and pen tools let you select and draw. They are matched to the underlying instruments. Normally the selection is selective and it is possible to select only elements of the current type, unless you hold down Ctrl or Command key. The elements are texts, lines, polygons and slabs, circles, and cylinder, arcs, dimensions, rectangles, boxes and pyramids, markers, walls, stairs, openings, meshes, camera, objects, images, lights. To insert the texts, click on the icon of the texts. There are two ways to enter. Each text is enclosed in a rectangle. In the first way, you start inserting text into the drawing and the rectangle adjusts to the inserted or modified text. In the second way, we draw a rectangle and insert the text into it. The texts inserted in this way can be modified by moving the vertices of the rectangle. The text inside is modified to fit the rectangle. To insert a line, press the mouse, drag it while holding down the mouse button, and release it at the end of the line. There are three ways to enter lines. The first way is free entry. Another input mode is horizontal or vertical. While tracing, the line assumes the direction closest to the horizontal or vertical from the starting point. In the third way, the segments are drawn with the angle set in the drafting machine. To better proceed with the subsequent explanations, let's open a new project with the new command from the File menu. The introduction of polygons, slabs and roofs takes place with a series of clicks in the vertices of the polygon. Each click is a new vertex and the series can be terminated with a double click, pressing the Enter key, or the space bar. From the panel, you choose the type of element, polygon, slab or roof, but the method of introduction is the same. The second icon below allows free input, which is done by drawing the curve in the drawing window, until the mouse button is released. In the case of roofs, there is a third input mode for constructing hip roofs. In this case, the drawn polygon represents the roof eaves line, from which the roof slopes start. The circle and the oval can be drawn in 4 different ways. The first way draws circles by clicking on the center and tracing the radius of the circle. In the second way, the circle is inserted by drawing a polygon of 3 points. The drawn circle is the one that passes through the 3 points. In the other 2 modes, an ellipse or a circle is drawn inside a rectangle, drawn from the center or from a vertex. I select and delete the items entered so far. The second way is similar to the circle by 3 points. A polygon is drawn with the vertices where the arc passes. Arcs can be entered in 2 ways. Dimensions are entered by clicking in succession on a series of points. Click in the center of the arc and trace the radius until pressing enter or the space bar. Then move the mouse and click at the end of the arc until a subsequent mouse click. In the first mode of insertion, the dimension line is horizontal or vertical. The second mode is horizontal only. The third only vertical. In the fourth mode, the dimension line has the direction from the first point clicked to the last. And finally, in the fifth mode, the dimension line has the angle set in the drafting machine. The rectangle tool is used to insert rectangles, parallelepipeds and pyramids. In the first insertion mode, the diagonal of the rectangle is traced with the mouse. In the second way, the semi-diagonal is drawn, starting from the center of the rectangle. The markers are inserted in a simple way, with a click on the drawing. Walls are drawn in the same way as lines. There are 3 ways of tracking. In the first way, the walls are drawn horizontally and vertically. The first method is free tracking, where you click at the starting point and trace, with the mouse pressed, releasing the mouse button at the end. In the third way, the walls are traced with the direction set in the drafting machine or perpendicular to it. Stairs are drawn in 3 different ways. In the first way, a rectangle is drawn and the scale is inserted in this rectangle. In the second way, the ladder is traced through the first step. The width of the ladder is equal to the length of the tracing. In the third way, the staircase is drawn with the first rung, but the width is the one set in the stairs panel. Let's draw a wall to insert openings. The opening is inserted by drawing it with the mouse inside the wall, clicking with the mouse at the starting point and releasing the mouse button at the end point. The opening to many insertion options: fixed width, fixed distance from the start of the wall, centered and others. All of these ways are in the openings panel and will be covered in a later video. The insertion of the mesh takes place by drawing a quadrilateral. The base element of the mesh is drawn as a four-sided polygon. A click on the Library Objects icon opens the File Open window for choosing and loading a library object. The object is placed in the drawing. Lights are inserted in a similar way to markers, by simply clicking in the drawing. Let's see now the functions of the underlying part of the palette, visible only in selection mode. The Join and Cut tool connects and, if necessary, cuts at their intersection, two lines or two walls. Join, cut and delete the shortest strokes. Join, if necessary, cut at their intersection, two lines or two walls and delete the shortest ends. Circular fillets creates a circular connection between two lines or two walls. Circular fillets with radius creates a circular connection between two lines or two walls setting a radius. Parametric stretching widens or narrows an object or a layer, compared to a horizontal or vertical line, without deforming the drawing. Let's try to do the parametric stretching of some walls. We draw some lines and use the Adjust Segment on Alignment tool to extend a series of selected lines to another line. The Subdivision with Attach Points tool divides the selected element by adding attachment points. The selected element is not modified. Divides into portions tool, splits the selected element in separated parts. The bucket tool allows you to fill areas of the drawing, delimited by graphic elements, with filled polygons, or slabs. By clicking on the inside of them, areas must be closed. The tool joins lines and polygons, unites a series of lines, polygons and curves in a single polygon. The scissors tool, cut any object, element or layer into two parts, cut it through a line. The tool generates walls on selection, automatically generates long walls, lines, polygons and selected curves. The walls under roof tool automatically adjusts the wall heights to the roof above. The tool walls on roof automatically adapts the dimensions of the walls to the roof below.